It's highly unlikely that there will be a change in the VAT rate. What we expect to see is that items that were previously zero rated will be moved to standard rated. For instance, fuel that has been exempt for a very long time, for the last 5 years or so, will then become vatable at the rate of 16%. We also expect that commodities such as maize flour, wheat flour, milk and others will move from being zero rated to being exempt, which is going to increase the cost of living for the ordinary mwananchi. So when you look at commodities such as fuel and also the power, the utility bills, there are also other levies that are in there. And the reason that government does this is just an innovative way of collecting more taxes to be able to finance other government initiatives. You will appreciate that as a country, the main source of revenue for us is taxes. We do not have natural resources where we can be able to fund government expenditure through that. So like in the power bills, we have levies such as warma. Warma is about 5 cents per kilowatt hour, and warma is used to finance the operations of the Water Resource Management Authority. We also have ERC levy and rural electrification levy, and these are levies that are used to fund the operations of the respective entities. When it comes to fuel, we have the road maintenance levy that is predominantly used to maintain our roads. It's highly unlikely that the VAT rate is going to go up. We have a fairly new VAT Act that was enacted in 2013. When the VAT Act was enacted, the rationale for enacting it was to ensure that the list of exempt products or services was reduced significantly. So what we are likely to see in this current bill is that there will be more items that will move from being zero rated to standard rated, or move from being zero rated to exempt, which is going to have an impact on the cost of living. When you talk about raising taxes, the government has two options, because we realize that expenditure in this country is funded predominantly through tax revenues. So the government has an option to either deepen the tax base or widen the tax base. Deepening the tax base would entail increasing the tax rates. In the short run, government may be able to realize their revenues, but in the long term, this is going to hurt the economy because we'll be pushing away investors. Kenya is not going to be as competitive as other countries in the region. If you're to compare the corporate tax rates globally, the average is about 22.5%, and we've seen quite a number of countries reducing their corporate tax rates. In Africa, the average is 28.5%, so a tax rate of 35% is very high, and the government should rethink this. In the short term, I think they should maintain the current tax rate of 30%.